Most of you are probably wondering what I smoked before I came up here talking about lizard wizards. Before you judge too harshly, let me explain. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is a band that defies any conventional label or genre. In 10 years, they've accomplished what most bands can only ever dream of. I chose this band because they genuinely inspire me to do something with my life. I'm almost fully confident no one has ever heard or listened to these guys before. Probably doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I've got about 5 more minutes for the rest of the speech, so I'm going to have some fun with it. To ease you into this a little bit, let me go into their backstory. So, with King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, each album is an entirely new sound and genre. So, going back to their first album, it was garage rock. And then immediately after that, they made a whole country western album that was like a soundtrack album, basically. Their newest album is thrash metal. There's a jazz album in there, there's electronic, everything. Everything except I think they don't have a rap album, but I'm sure they'll get to that. Corey Grove from Rolling Stone in 2015 said, quote, Infest the Rat's Nest is the 15th studio album since 2012 from Australia's resident psych rock weirdos, end quote. Infest the Rat's Nest is their newish, it was a thrash metal one that I just said, but it just goes to show you they're weird and they really dig weird sounds. Rolling Stone also said, part of the fun of seeing the band live is watching the 7 members trying to pack their huge setup, including 2 drummers, 1 bassist, 3 guitarists, no flute. To reiterate that, that's 2 full drum sets. Not one guy banging around on a bongo and then another guy playing around on one drum set. It's 2 full, loud drum sets. It's incredible. It feels good. In a live setting, it's perfect. Also, I just want to reiterate, 15 albums since 2012. 15 albums in 8 years is incredible. In 2017 alone, they put out 5 albums, which brings up the argument, quality over quantity. But if you're putting out a ridiculous amount of content that still maintains that high quality mark, I don't really see that as a bad thing. Lots of good is still good. As a promoter, trying to market a band that doesn't really have a stable sound is almost impossible, but fortunately, their kind of do-it-yourself attitude has really benefited them. So next, I'm going to talk about 2 acronyms. One of them you might know, one of them you might not. But first off, it's DIY. Do it yourself. Most people know that, but in different aspects it means different things. So in the music aspect, it's kind of more of a, you promote your own stuff, you distribute your own stuff, you manage your own band, you book your own gigs. You do everything yourself. You don't have a record label that gets you gigs or anything like that. It's the part of the independent music scene. That's what it's all about. It's just doing it yourself. No one is, there's no middleman. There's no person that's helping you out. King Gizzard does that. They start their own record label. They put out all their own music. They put out their friends' music. They do a really good job with that. Next is PMA, which is Positive Mental Attitude. It was just kind of created in the 30s in a Napoleon Hill book, but it blew up in the 80s with a band called Bad Brains. All their lyrics were positive mental attitude, which is they focused on positive aspects of everyday life, but they were meaningful lyrics. King Gizzard does this in a good way, where each album has kind of a theme or a motive that they're kind of speaking out about. In an article from John Kirby of Wax Poetics in 2016, Bad Brains founding bass player said, quote, what we discovered was PMA was really just the great spirit, end quote. And they're talking about, they're speaking from their hearts on like serious subjects that they care about. So it's not just sex, drugs, and booze. It's realistic matters. Todd Desk said in a 2018 Broadway World article, quote, Flightless Records was started by Eric Moore, drummer and manager of King Gizzard in Melbourne in 2012, with humble beginnings originally shipping the early King Gizzard LPs in pizza boxes. That goes back to the do-it-yourself part. They did everything themselves. They're really great about that. So staying positive is something everybody can incorporate into their lives. And on a positive note, I'm almost done with this speech. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard's dedication to doing everything themselves while keeping a positive mental attitude and constantly evolving their sound truly inspires me. I think a lot of people find self-motivation pretty damn hard, or maybe it's just me, but sometimes the only things that will get me up off my ass is a good movie or a book or something like that. Whenever I find something that really moves me emotionally, I try to embrace it and use that feeling to do something productive. And I think that's why I like this band so much. They make me feel like I can actually make something worthwhile, whether it's recording a song in my bedroom or writing a book in a coffee shop. It doesn't matter. I'll still get the enjoyment of completing a task that gives me some self-worth. It might completely suck ass, but it doesn't really matter to me. I hope a weird name and me babbling for 5 or 6 minutes doesn't scare you away from listening to these guys. They do things differently than anyone else in the business, and they deserve some recognition. Thank you.